My brain was like, could I please call in Dr. Seuss, please?
Yes, I have been here, and I did nudge both of you to watch an inspiration adaptation of my literature to be able to provide you with with the connection and the both instant thought. Wonder what he is doing today. And here I am, wanting to share my story with you.
Uh, uh, please, anything you would like to share with us, maybe your purpose in this lifetime?
Yes, it was a very fun one because it was fanciful, but also very purposeful. And so, with laughter and humor, you learn so much more. And while I was creating imagery and far off lands and things that would seem so absurd and so obscene and so silly, there was big morals there for the adults to see and for the children to be entertained with. So while at the time of humanity's age, people were starting to slowly drift away from religion, and the stories that children were being told in their religious studies were not as engaging and was not resonating with them way back then. And so my work was really to inspire and encourage young minds to be able to think about other lives and other ways to approach life here. So it was an escape for them to be able to consider all the possibilities with no limitations. And this gave me such joy to be able to do this for humanity.
Okay, thank you so much. Did you have a favorite book that you wrote, one that was very meaningful more than any others?
Well, there were some of my original ones that were very near and dear to me. And then as my popularity grew, I was encouraged to then expand out more and to keep the masses entertained, shall we say. And so while it did seem a bit too wacky and too silly, it was fantastic because there was not much in the way of censorship. So the children could get my messages and humanity could get my messages without it being so serious. It wasn't an indoctrination. It wasn't indoctrination. It was acceptable because it was just silly, and this was part of the trick to get people to start thinking outside of the box, and start thinking for themselves. And if it possibly could be my stories to encourage and inspire them to start thinking and creating for themselves, well, then my life purpose was complete.
Okay, thank you. That's awesome. Um, where did you get your inspiration and all of a lot of the rhyming?
Yes, well, it was humor and rhyming is much more memorable to recall, and so it turns into a little catchy phrase and saying. And so it was supposed to be catchphrase like to be able to keep it the rhythm going. And when you speak it in the way that I was speaking it, the spoken word of it in the right rhythm is very powerful. As you know, the sounds and language are very powerful, said in combinations. And so it was the rhythm and the words combined together, which was very uplifting and high. It was to encourage frequency, vibration, upliftment. So there was many things there. And while the adults were trying to keep up and be entertaining for the children, that all were being uplifted with it. And some adults at the time did find it nonsensical and frustrating because it was just such a tongue twister to say. But there were so many excited adults that loved to include this in their bed stories for their children. And so it uplifted the adults and it inspired and encouraged the children. Um, so my inspiration, my purpose to share this way to help humanity in this way, which was not there was not much respect for children's stories in terms of being threatening for control in systems that were wanting to dictate the adults of the day and the children in the day to something else. So I got lucky because I just did, and my work was very protected. And so, your question about, I've distracted myself.
You answered the question.
Oh,
It was-
I didn't. It was about where I got my inspiration from.
yes.
And yes, so I came down for this purposeful mission to be able to provide this entertainment, but also wisdom to humanity. And so I did have many dreams where I was uplifted and connected to my higher self and my higher purpose. And so it was divine inspiration, but it was also my higher self trying to help humanity at that time. And so it was inspired, but I was in tune to be able to create such things because I was encouraged, and my own empowerment of self and me following my own passions and desires led me to be able to create the body of work that I have been able to do for humanity. There was much other things that I had read that were also kept aside for private, but also the editors of the time were a little bit picky and choosy with what they would allow. And sometimes my blatantly awakening message was seemed a little bit too blatant. So I wasn't fooling many, but I fooled many.
That is amazing. Do you have a message for humanity at this time?
Be silly, be fun, be wacky, and be proud, because humanity is going through something so tremendous and great. And so, if you could be the most bravest soldier or the most bravest being you could be, with pride, with nothing stopping you but yourself. And we say this many times, and this is a collective now. Our message to humanity is to love each other and you love yourself, and be as silly and fun as possible, and do not let the booze go down on you. Always see the bright side of things and laugh, 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 and make sure you do a little funny dance and a little funny anything you can to keep that smile up, and to keep your heart up, and to keep all your vibrations up as you see things as a magical wonderment of a small child who has no fear, no worries, and they just want to keep having fun in the sun, and just keep continuing on with much joy in your heart. And when you can continually live with that upliftment, that you will share that naturally with others. And this is your gift that you can provide to humanity with great compassion and with great joy. You can help humanity tremendously.
Wow, thank you so much. That's so awesome. Now, are we talking to the Higher Collective right now, or back talking to Dr. Seuss?
We're all still here. We are still here, but we wanted to support him and his message because it's also our message too, and it's always been our message. It's the same message that we will say time and time again until humanity takes on the responsibilities that the individual needs to take on to and step forward and empower themselves. We're waiting for each individual who knows these messages to start applying them.
Okay, thank you so much.
We're saying we have many more messages that we would love to share, but we can't continually give bigger information when many people have still blocks of self-love and self-respect. So it is a time where we can give the most information for the most general of beings who are listening. So we cannot give more information because of the audience.
I understand and I appreciate your time. And I thank you so much for your messages today.
You're more than welcome. And thank you for letting me come in and experience and express myself again. I am so proud of my body of work, and it wasn't just mine alone. and it was a gift for humanity from many and from all. And so it is such a joy to be able to see that it's still being worked upon, and over time, with many of the graduations of entertainment moving from book form into all other digital formats now, it has been fun to see how much my work has been adapted and grown, and it does give me great joy. But I am also busy on other things, but I am so very proud and happy to be able to have helped humanity that way.
May I ask one more quick question before you go?
Absolutely.
What are a couple things or something that you're working on currently?
Mm-hmm. Inspiring the children that are still listening to my and reading my books and my work. I am supporting, encouraging them, and nurturing them with their imagination. And so when they're reading something from me, and it is sparking some excitement and some life and some joy in their minds because they're getting the bigger picture and the bigger purpose of my work, then I am encouraging them all the way. And so it is about inspiring them. Many children have come here now with very little, very little, and they can often see my joy and my essence as I am able to support them and encourage them and have positive creations. And so it is wonderful to be able to help still so many who are more open to spirituality and other dimensions and other beings, all different types and shapes and sizes and all different colors, and making the children from all of my since my work has been out publicly, I've always hoped to have been able to spark them being tolerant and accepting and open to all. And so now that I'm on the other side of it, encouraging children to keep seeing the differences of many, but the similarities of all. And it's about inclusivity and uniting all beings and supporting everyone with fun and with lightheartedness and with unconditional love profoundly.
I am so grateful for your work that you have done here, that is still here, and your lessons that you have provided for us as humanity.
You're more than welcome, and it is such a joy to be able to do that, because if I had written serious adult books about my belief systems of other dimensions, other worlds, other planets, other beings, I would have been censored, and I would have been limited. So we played the system and it worked.
Yes. Thank you again.
You're more than
Thank
welcome.
you.
We say this with much love.